Well, hello and welcome to this episode of the award nominated. I don't know if
Woo!
you caught that. Let me repeat that. Award nominated
Wow.
Association Transformation Podcast. This transatlantic conversation has been seen, has been heard. People know who we are, Andrew. This is
Well,
happening.
and they want to give us they want to give us a prize for it.
Right, exactly. Who would have thunk?
Not
Who would have
not
thunk?
me. It must be our listener in Belgium has been so enthused.
They started a petition and all 12 of them got together and they've been harassing the but seriously, we have been nominated. I'm excited about it. We'll keep our audience informed of how the award presentation goes. But it calls me to raise my game. And I
Okay.
think instead of us just bantering about and reminiscing of association challenges and stories and victories, I think we need to look to some more future focused and
Mhm.
serious topics. I
Mhm.
think we need to be the award-winning podcast that we know we are. Are you ready for
Wow.
this?
Oh
Are you
my
ready?
God, I feel pressured. I feel so pressured. But yes, I you before I pressed record, you weren't feeling you. I didn't know we were up in our game, right?
I saved the best for recording, Andrew.
Let's do it. I'm up in my game. I'm doing it. Right.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
So we are not only transatlantic, we are an international conversation that is ready to explore, innovate, experiment in conversation for the benefit of nonprofits and associations
Yes.
around this globe. And I think there's something that's affecting all of us equally, something that's in my mind scary as heck. And you actually brought it to the forefront. So thank you for raising this topic, this
Mm-hmm.
issue. Do you want to? Should I drum roll for you? Do you want to?
Oh,
You want to throw it out there?
don't build it up. You only just we haven't got enough time or attention. We can't focus too long on it. I want to talk about attention economics or the attention economy. This is something
Ooh,
that's yeah. This
this
is
sounds
something.
very academic. It sounds very academic.
It makes me sound like I read.
Right. It's a lot of syllables for you. I'm proud.
So the attention, yeah, I first kind of, I must admit, I stumbled across attention economics, reading a book not that long
What?
ago.
Wait, stop the presses.
Oh, enough now. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're going over the top now. You're milking it now.
Okay,
You're
okay.
milk.
All right. Well, some people have bookcases in the background of their Zoom. I've never seen a book in the background. So I'm just proud that there are books in your life.
Hang on. Did
But
we
yes, please,
hang
attention
on, hang
economics.
on. We wrote a book together. Of course, there's a book. Like,
Oh, that's true. We did write a book together.
oh my God. Right. I
Okay,
want to
sorry. Let
talk
me
about
focus. It's hard for me to
yes.
focus. Let's start. Attention economics, please proceed.
Yeah, there's something ironic that I want to talk about attention economics, and you want to let you,
And I'm all over the place.
can't get
Believe
to
me,
the end of it.
I live attention economics every day. It's
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about attention economics and what do we mean by attention economics. Let me just, if it's all right with you, I'll just lay a bit of the groundwork just so we know
please,
exactly
please.
what, before we kind of talk about it in a membership or an
Yes, I
association
need the 101.
context.
I
Yeah.
need the 101, please.
Okay, so we understand economics. Economics is the study of how sources and, resources rather, scarce resources are allocated. So how do we use what we've got for
So
the
that's like money and resources and time and
food,
food,
yeah,
water. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
all
I
of
got
that.
it. All right.
We recognize that they're finite. There's only so much available. So how do we manage that? How do we make that available to as many or as wide an audience as possible? How do we make sure that everyone's got a piece of the pie, if you like? So that's economics. So then we get into the world of and so then we move into the world of attention economics. And where this kind of comes from is to counter that. It says that in an era of endless amounts of information that we have instantly at our fingertips, there's no scarcity. There's no scarcity of information. We don't need to worry about sharing that information. I don't worry that you don't have enough access to information because unlike the food, money, housing, stuff that is tangible and physical, that we can quantify it, we can measure it, information, data is arguably infinite. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Right.
And so in that world, how we begin to sort of talk about the economics of data, the economics of information, and how we measure it is against attention, and how we understand attention as being a potential limiting factor to the value of information and data.
So wait. What you're saying is attention is the actual true resource.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. You're good.
But each of us only has so much.
Exactly. So the term was coined, attention economy, was coined by Herbert Simon, who was a psychologist and an economist. He's also a Nobel laureate. In the 1970s, he describes attention as being the bottleneck of human thought. Yeah, I love that. I think that's the title of this pod, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I think because the bottleneck of human thought, which I really love that, because it says it's attention that limits both what we perceive in stimulating environments and what we can do with it, what we can do with that information.
Right. Oh goodness. My association wheels, my membership and engagement wheels are turning.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah, you're getting it. I'm doing my job well here. This 101. So he says, actually, we've spent a lot of time over the last, particularly over the last sort of 3 decades, talking about information economy, as though information is the valuable commodity, but it's not. It's attention that is the valuable commodity, because attention is limited, and therefore it's valuable, and therefore it's scarce. And so how do we, the argument, the theory is, it's, how do we then, as we approach the quarter mark of the 21st century, where we are awash, we're flooded by information. I would say, information pollution is a massive issue for us. How do we function effectively, both as individuals, but also as organizations within the attention economy and within the confines of the attention economy?
Mm-hmm. And I've read articles about this in the context of marketing, how to get people, how to trigger, how to get people to click, how to get people to stay on your website, and all of these tricks, and they're related to that information, that content, how to make your content stand out.
Yeah.
And yet they don't address this. This seems to be the piece that we're all skipping over, which is the attention side of it, and recognizing that limited resource.
I think we've seen that a lot, because in the kind of the habit, and we see this a lot when we in the kind of membership world, we sometimes quantify value as rather, let me rephrase this. There's too many quads here, too many QUs here. We qualify value as being quantity. So we do more. We put more out the door. Our members expect X, Y, and Z. They expect the value proposition to be this big and this much stuff, and we need to be doing all of this. And that's totally understandable, because that's always been in societal terms, in economic terms, that's always been our response, which is basically, if we're not getting our message across, we've got to do something else, rather than let's refocus on the message, let's and really tackle people's attention, capture people's attention. So you're absolutely right. In the marketing and communications context, it's exactly what we've been seeing. It's exactly what's not working anymore.
Well, when I mentioned in the beginning that this was a really scary topic for me, when I think as a membership person, as an engagement specialist in this nonprofit association world, this is scarier than inflation, than blockchain, than generational shift. This is something that is true, and a challenge with everyone, from your leadership to your staff to your current members, your future members, your never been members. This is, geez. And you mentioned something that stuck with me: information pollution. And organizations' natural instincts is just to say something more, different, more often. And I don't think associations and nonprofits truly appreciate that they're losing the battle for content competition.
Yes,
Yeah.
because when Herbert Simon said, when he came up with the attention economy concept, one of the things, I'm going to quote him here, he says, did that a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention.
Right. The
like,
more you're hurting yourself through a strategy of more. And to be honest, there's already competition for that information that's free, that may be easier to access, that may be more intuitive, that may come from alternative resources.
Yes.
I would argue with the plethora of information that we also probably struggle with a deficit of verification, a deficit of credibility and truth. But some organizations are competing against Google.
Yeah,
if your website isn't easy, people are simply going to get what they need somewhere else.
Absolutely. And I think also, the reality of it is also we're just humans. And we are the more sophisticated machines, but also we only have limited, we all only have limited capacity to absorb this information. And you're right. I mean, if it's not literally at our fingertips, if I can't find it in 2 clicks, well, I'm going to move on somewhere else. I'm going to move to the next piece, and we've seen that, and that's something that software applications are particularly good at. And have become far more sophisticated.
Well, and social media, that's the stickiest of environments.
Always, absolutely, yes, yeah, and I think that's another pod in itself. But you're absolutely right, and that is intrinsically linked to the point about you were talking about validity, verification of fact, and data, etc. It's just an absolute.
My mind is going to explode right now. It's
a minefield, to say the least. No, I know what you mean. Because when you start to think about it,
it builds on itself with this overwhelming, I'm a problem solver, and you bring this idea to my attention, no pun intended. My first thought is, all right, how do we fix this? How do we solve this? From what I hear you saying, there's not an opportunity to increase the human capacity. That's a set thing with each individual, different for each person, but what it is what it is. This is about choosing the right thing and capturing attention. But how do associations do this? Is it about their own focus, their own discipline? Is it about their technology and how they're keeping people on their sites, how they're delivering information in a easy and interesting way? Tell me the answer.
It's all those things. I mean, that's it. That's the challenges of the attention economy are sophisticated and they are multifaceted, and therefore our response has got to be equally sophisticated, and recognizing that one size does not fit all. We can't simply say, we're not capturing enough of our members for whatever reason are not engaging with us, so we'll just switch, we'll just make this one switch. It's got to be far more comprehensive than that. And in terms of understanding, how you engage with members and what you're communicating and when you're communicating, even that isn't good enough anymore. What we understand as a traditional marketing and communications strategy isn't good enough anymore, because the avenues that we've got and that everybody else has got to communicate and to capture people's attention is vast. I mean, you mentioned social media earlier on. How many times do you go on to, I don't know, you think, I need to find something, I'm going to go on the interweb, I'm going to, go into my Twitter feed and see if I can find something about it. And next thing you know, it's like 4 hours later and you're still on Twitter, and that, how do organizations counter that? How do they meet that challenge is, I would argue, I think it's probably the biggest. I think it's the biggest question we've got to handle, to be honest, as organizations, as membership bodies.
And you say, the how we address this needs to be sophisticated and multifaceted. And this isn't just about, is your content interesting or relevant? It's about access. How are people getting to it? About engagement. What are you asking of them next? Mm-hmm. And in some ways, it may be about setting realistic expectations. You're not going to get 100% participation or click through, or the heat map of your website is not going to be all red. Understanding what's possible and what is realistic in terms of engaging your audience and setting those markers in a way that you can succeed and that you can take small bites at this. I don't want people to embrace attention economics and shoot for an unrealistic marker and then go back to their content overload strategy.
Yes. No, I think that's a really good point. And I mean, I had a meeting earlier this week where somebody, and it did make me reflect. I had a meeting earlier this week where somebody said to me, accused me of being, no, accused is too strong a word. They said, Andrew, you're just too ambitious. You're over ambitious. You've got unrealistic. It was in relation to a project I'm working on. And it's like, right, okay. And at first I thought, oh, cheeky so-and-so, how dare you? You can't be too ambitious. But actually,
was this reverse psychology? Were they trying to...
They just made me more ambitious. It was like, I'll show you, right? By the end of the day, I'll have this done. But actually, what they really were talking about, and we did discuss this, is they were talking about expectation. And it can be disheartening when you are churning out really it's valuable, and people tell you it's valuable stuff. People say, I love this. We needed this. Where's it been? And yet you're looking at your data, looking at your numbers, and you're getting, half a dozen members out of 2,000 or whatever engaging in something. You can make you really despondent, and you can quite quickly think, actually, this new approach isn't working. Yeah, so just default back to what was working in 1990. But what worked in 1990, what worked in the year 2000, what worked in 2010 isn't working now. And
I think it's a matter of measuring and determining the true end game. Yes. The true end game here isn't necessarily holding attention. It's getting people down a path to a level of engagement.
Yes.
Defining your true end game, whether it's an increase in membership, whether it's an increase in retention, maybe it's a higher number of students joining that specialty and choosing that academic course. Maybe it's a higher number of people submitting awards applications. Define what your true measure of impact is, and recognize that the attention economics is a means to that end.
Yeah.
So that you're measuring the right things and holding your organization accountable for the right things, because it will take a multitude of strategies. It will take a shotgun approach to achieve those final end results. And I hate when organizations just put on the blinders and they get so focused on clicks and likes and shares and survey responses, when in reality, that's just a means to an end, and it's one of many means. It's not the end game. So yes, I love attention economics. I want to talk about it. I'm scared about it. I think the competition wrapped into it. I mean, everyone's in this fighting the same battle. But I do hope people can rise above and stay at a high level and keep that end goal, the true end goal, in mind.
I think the reality is, we've been doing our research into this, and there's a lot that I want to share. There's a lot, and actually, I think there's too much for this pod. I think, which is ironic because I don't know if we'll have it. People will stay listening for too long. But there's point in practice.
But for you've done more research. I've done some initial reading on this. I don't know who to invite back. Should we go out and get a theoretical physicist? Should we go out and get a marketing expert? Should we go get an algorithm, coding expert? I don't even know who to go talk to.
Yes, and yes. Although I must admit, the whole physicist thing, not too many in my diary, but I'm sure in my circle rather.
There's not one at the pub you have a drink with.
Oh, no. But I do, no, sadly not. But I do think it is worth us. Look, I think in this pod, we've introduced it. I think we flagged this as a real challenge that actually I think will resonate. And actually it resonates. We're both small business owners. This resonates broader than membership organizations. This is about just engaging with people you want to connect with, people to whom you want to sell, people to whom you want to recruit, people to whom you want to connect. And what I want to do, if you're up for it, is get into some of the answers on it. Not now, like I say, because I dare say our listener has already, stopped.
Did you use that in the singular?
Yeah. Well, I just want to, make them feel special. But, I dare say they've already spent enough time listening to us today. But did you know, because it's really interesting, University of California, Professor Gloria Mark, she calculated that it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back on track once you've on a task, once you've been distracted from it.
Yeah.
I mean, can you work? I mean, that just, you quantify that into hours, it quickly becomes days, it quickly becomes weeks,
Well, it shows you the true inefficiency of multitasking. And I started a couple of years back trying to single task and focus on that list, prioritized, and take one task at a time. And it's hard, especially working from home. You have all of these environmental factors, let alone the multitude of projects you're juggling in your mind. I don't know that I have a scarcity of attention. I have a scarcity of focus. And in some of the reading I've done on this, attention economics, attention is focus. It's what you're choosing to give your mind to at the expense of other things.
Absolutely.
And, we're both parents. It hurts my heart to see, my son is 10 and he'll scroll through YouTube for hours if I let him. What this next generation is giving their attention to and being programmed to see as value and worth their time. You say, hey, it's sunny and beautiful outside. You want to go outside? Nope.
No,
He'd rather sit there on the iPad, and it's tragic. It's infuriating and so taking it. Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was going to say that crowding out of other activities. Because that is, in attention economics terms, that's known as the substitution effect, which is basically, what are we missing out on?
Yeah.
What is it that we're sacrificing? But by putting all our effort into this, on our attention to this, what else are we sacrificing? And businesses, how we not only cater to the demands of the attention economy, but how we respond to the substitution effect as well, is we have to have answers on that.
When I bring it back to the association world and I think about all that I see in this space, people rushing to digital transformation and doing new websites and new platforms and AMSs and LMSs and all the tactics and tools. But are they really thinking about the attention side of this? Are they really putting themselves in the seat of their user, their ideal user? Do they know what that true end game is? I think a lot of people are just plugging in technologies and spending money on digital and digital transformations. Is that not so new buzzword? And yet maybe we're missing the point, which is the attention economics of it and defining that true role, that true end goal for our desired user, our desired participant.
I am just pleased that you have that. Why are you laughing?
It was just so I don't know, paternal. Like,
no,
you, Elisa. You've made me quite
I'm pleased that no. I love it when you go British. You go Mary Poppins on me. I love it. It's brilliant. Was this in? No, what you're.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Probably off track now. What I was going to say is I love that you are in the course of this pod, you've emphasized in 1997, Michael Goldhaber, who was a theoretical physicist, he warned that the international economy is shifting from a material-based economy to an attention-based economy. So, as more and more services are offered online, as we move away from traditional manufacturing and an industrial economy, more and more, the majority of new careers will develop in the information economy, or what we subsequently know, as we've said, the attention economy. But I think I love that you've actually debunked that myth that multitasking is a good thing, and you've demonstrated that.
I'm just terrible at it. It may be good for some people.
My inability to multitask is a strength. So I just want to thank you for.
Right, I try to turn it into a positive, and with that in mind, and I think that there's a lot within this that can present opportunities to nonprofits and associations because of their niche, because of their connection to their audience, and the relevance of their mission. Yes. They draw people to them because of their mission, not because of the abundance of information they may have. but that gives them credibility, that gives them power, that allows them a chance at capturing attention. So
absolutely,
with that in mind, I think there's lots more reading to do. Maybe we should encourage our audience to go Google attention economics after listening to this podcast. And, of course, email us if you have any ideas for guests, if this is something you and your organization are looking into. hello@yourconsort.com. You can always send us your ideas. We may even call and ask you to be on the pod with us. You can also find Association Transformation at any place you get your podcasts, wherever your favorite podcast source or platform. You can favorite us. We encourage you to follow along, check out some of those previous episodes. They are award nominated.
Oh, you just plug that. Did you say at the beginning what awards they are? Did you play?
I didn't because if we don't win, I'll never mention it again. So I didn't mention the awards.
Is there any doubt?
I don't like to jinx things. I'm a superstitious person. I don't like to jinx things.
Okay. Well, okay. Fair enough.
Maybe we should do a live feed from the awards ceremony.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Do you know how to do that technically? I don't think I know how to live.
Oh my God. All right, we'll Google it.
We'll Google it. Yeah. But I'll get bored after reading like the first 22 lines, and then I'll be like, at least just tell me what to do.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Andrew, for bringing this to our attention. I'm excited that we will dive deeper and have an opportunity to explore this, because if an organization, association, for-profit, nonprofit is not aware of the dangers of attention economics, they need to wake up. This is the future, and it's here. It's already here. It's been here. And if you don't see your children giving all of their time to those screens, and your members not opening your email, not responding to those survey invitations, it's already here. You're already being affected by attention economics. But it's that much more urgent than it has ever been before. And more digital tools and technologies aren't going to save you if you're not thinking about it in the right way. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. We will tackle it again. And I'm sorry, do you have any closing thoughts?
No. I forgot what we were talking about. No. We're not going to leave this too long. We're not going to leave this too long, are we? I think we've got momentum on this now, and I want to tackle this sooner rather than later.
Go for it. I will be here when you need me. You know where to reach me.
Okay.
And until then, we encourage you to put your members and your mission first.